You guys ever hear the term of wokeness? It or being woke, or this thing has gone woke, or whatever? Now, I don't know the exact reasoning behind the people's minds of who unironically uses that word. To my understanding, it seems to really mean or refer to any sort of progressive thinking, any sort of inclusion of minorities to any degree. And I stumbled across a video titled "What is Woke? Here's an Idea." I glanced over the channel's other videos via thumbnails, and well, I don't think they're a very progressive person. So we'll have to see where they go with this. So annoying when people keep repeating antagonizing things when they think are woke, and keep repeating antagonizing things they think are woke. Yeah, I mean, we're about to dive into a 20-minute video of what is woke, and also trigger warning, the frame is a gun in a mouth silhouette. So, not for the snowflakes. Doesn't even start off black screen. Just starts off with fucking this. Anyways, let's hear his totally reasonable and rational explanation of shit.
When it comes to the culture war or whatever between, the people on the right or the people on the left, conservatives and leftists and liberals, Republicans, all that shit, you see the term woke thrown around often. I will say the conservatives tend to do it a bit more, but the leftist reaction is honestly really fucking ridiculous. They pretend as though they have no idea what it means. They're like, oh, what does woke mean? You need to define woke. You know exactly what it's referring to, but it's easier for them to just, pretend they have no idea. Or the other reaction that they give is they say that it's a dog whistle or a buzzword that the far right uses for minorities and women and just gay.
Good to know that in the first 30 seconds I didn't use an argument that he was complaining about here. That's just nice for me to know. But I don't personally think it's like any sort of... I mean, I guess I can sort of see the argument about it being a dog whistle and anybody using that as like horrible people, but I mean, I don't care that much. I dunk on it. I joke with the word. I think it's funny.
Gay people being there and existing. A perfect example of this actually is Communist Creeper. He did a video recently and he said this same thing almost verbatim.
By the way, woke doesn't actually really mean anything. It's a buzzword usually used by the far right to mean minorities and women.
Woke or wokeness is simply a term used to refer to the far leftist ideologies that are hell-bent and obsessed with identity politics and the pseudo-sociological talking points that they have.
Wait, what? What ideologies? Trans people existing? Gay people existing? Unironically, is it complaining that pushing the gay agenda, is that what we're doing? Yeah, personally I wouldn't use the term dog whistle to describe woke. Yeah, like I can see where people are coming from when using that, or when like they say woke can be a dog whistle, but I just don't think it's like as red of a flag as like 1488.
Communist Creeper himself is a perfect example of this. How many people has he tried to baselessly accuse of being transphobic? Me being one of them, and it didn't turn out so well in his favor. A more specific example being last year during Nekokota and his tantrum over pronouns, where Communist Creeper did the exact same thing that crowd always does. If you call a man who thinks he's a woman man, which is not misgendering, they'll accuse you of misgendering and then try to...
Okay, so a person born as a man, identifies as female, or identifies as a woman, it's not misgendering to call them a man, that literally is transphobic. I can see why they called you that.
Reverse misgender you to give you a taste of your own medicine. God, the heinous fucking sin.
Would you like it if people just started referring to you as she/her? You probably want.
I will say that's a fucking weak argument. They will never outright care. It takes a very, very long time of repeated, constantly use of that term. Frankly, I think you should just say, who is this clown? Because not only are you calling them a clown, you're also calling them not memorable enough to remember the name of.
Want it because it's wrong.
Oh my fucking god, he did the thing. He actually did it. He did the weird little tactic that the pronoun posse have that I talked about in a previous video.
Akumu, I am going to go around and say you are a non-binary squirrelkin.
Not too bright, folks.
And if you disagree and say you are not that thing,
I do find it really funny that this guy used George fucking Carlin, as if George Carlin would ever agree with this guy.
I'm just going to inform you that that is what you believe, and I have what I believe. Because, as we all know, the definition of belief is thing that cannot be criticized.
If you want to call me a non-binary squirrel, go right ahead. You have free speech. Now, here's the funny thing about your comparison and your talking point. First, your comparison is okay. We have one situation where some people refer to a male with female pronouns because he self-identifies as a woman. And people who disagree with
Yes, that's the self-ID model. My personal preferred model. Because, like, what does it actually matter? What does it matter if you call them he, him, she, her? In reality, the only thing that really makes a difference is to the person you're addressing, whether or not they have a nicer life. And I guess a lot of these people just don't care if more people have nice lives. They just want to live in their bubble. They want things to be set in the ways that they've always been set in when they, really haven't been set in that way. Because, like, non-binary people have existed for a very long time. Look up Universal Public Friend. Public with a K, by the way.
that refer to the male with male pronouns because he is male. Now you're comparing that to calling a male human a non-binary squirrel.
Not too fucking bright.
But I have a funny. Just like a male who identifies as a woman can be proven to be male, a human who identifies as a squirrel can be proven to be human. Now this fucking
What's your point? Like, trans people, I guess I can only speak for myself. I understand there is quote-unquote biological realities. But what people like this don't understand is medical intervention does genuinely change that. Trans people actually experience periods. Many of us also lactate. Look up Nominal Naomi for more on that. Like, these people are just men and women, that's it. There's no gray area. And then when you start getting into gray area, they just say some wild shit.
logic where, oh, you're going to refer to a trans woman as a man? Does that mean I can refer to you however I want? These arguments are extremely fucking stupid and extremely common. The most
I mean, if you're not going to respect a person's pronouns, I'm just going to call you a cunt. I don't care about changing your label or anything. These people don't care about positions from identity politics positions. Those are cared about by the people on the left, not the right. The right just care about hurting the people they don't like, and I haven't been convinced otherwise.
recent example is ironically from the Coping Coda video comment section. If I used she/her pronouns when referring to you because I felt like it, would you care? The argument that they're making is that because they believe trans women are women and trans men are men, and I am not using the proper terms, I am falsely or improperly labeling them, misgendering them. Now the reason I love seeing it And it's one of my favorite things that the pronoun posse does. The herd mentality, the herd tactic, the herd rebuttal, is because they do it with such pride, as though it's a gotcha, as though they've got you
Well, we are the Pride movement.
by the balls. They're giving you a taste of your own medicine. Now, Darkseid, who was a part of the LCC, even countered a similar talking point exactly to this in a large video criticizing the neo-commentary community.
And that's not me being a bigot. She, he, it, right here, only talks about there being two genders, so I'm gonna call him he because the customer is always right.
So you would have to call an actual tranny by their preferred pronouns, but an actual woman by a factually incorrect one?
They're not
Gotta love the slur being left in. Really showing how you're the great people.
an echo chamber, guys, but they keep saying the exact same shit.
I don't care if I called you the wrong pronoun. Stop being such a snowflake. Is that a black movie?
Oh my god, when... You guys remember the fucking pronoun song? That was great. Good lord, this music's obnoxious. How long is this going on?
But since there's
Thank you. Yeah. Again, they don't care about if you call them the wrong pronouns. So why even bother doing that? Frankly, I think you should be more direct with it. You should call them ghouls. You should call them demons. You should say they don't care about anyone's happiness but their own. They're only in this to hurt the people they don't like.
apparently so many people that just don't know what the term refers to, let me give you an even greater idea outside of that.
Oh,
Calling
please
people
enlighten me.
transphobic for simply disagreeing with you and the notion that men can be women and women can be men, pushing for men to compete with women just because they think they're women. How
Oh, you know better than the Olympics? Please, do tell me.
about that Netflix show that's targeted for kids, Ridley Jones, where they have a baby cow identify as non-binary?
If I'm going to lead the herd, I want to do it as myself. After all, you always say to lead with your heart, right? Well, my heart says that the way I feel most myself is to go by the name Fred. That's because I'm non-binary, and Fred is the name that fits me best. And I also use they and them, because calling me a she or a he doesn't feel right to me.
What's the problem with this? Unironically, is it going to be you're pushing your gender identity onto kids and is inherently sexual, and we don't actually know anything about gender identities and sexualities? We're just going off of our fifis and not understanding anything relating to modern science.
Oh,
Also, let's just forget about Barnyard, where the main character was named Otis, a male cow with udders. Trans cow, you can't change my mind. Nobody gave a shit because it was, unironically, before the big culture war of trans people bad.
I didn't know that. No wonder you've been struggling. How could you lead the herd without being yourself?
Oh, okay, that's what really sets these people off. Seeing love and acceptance from parents to children.
Oh, I'm sorry I used the wrong name and pronouns. Thank you for showing me your heart.
How about another example? Another TV show targeted for children, Transformers Earthspark, where they have an auto...
Oh my god, it's a robot. How is it a biological male or female? Come on, dude.
bot identify as non-binary.
Unironically, what should non-sexual robots, like, they don't sexually reproduce that I know of. I gotta ask my friend about that one. But wouldn't they all be non-binary because they are neither male nor female? They are robots?
Nightshade's pronouns are they, them. He or she just doesn't fit who I am.
Not today.
How about
Oh my god. The fact that he uses a Michael Bay clip to try and dunk on this.
Netflix's Dear White People, where in the show they claim that you can't be racist to white people?
The role of counterculture is to wake up the mainstream.
Okay, I will say this. I do think you can be racist towards white people. It's all coming down, or it all comes down to the same bigotry responses. I disagree with a lot of the left on this one. Transformers, right? Right? It's in the name.
I have furniture older than you. Counterculture? Is that what you think this is? Your little show?
What about my show?
The show is racist.
Black people can't be racist. Prejudice, yes, but not racist. Racism describes a system of disadvantage based on race. Black people can't be racist since we don't stand to benefit from such a system.
Your antics are making press, Sam. And press like this keeps men like President Fletcher up at night.
More milk?
He's building a file on you.
Okay, it's not my fault that your son couldn't beat me in an election.
Didn't anyone tell you black people cannot be racist?
Black people can't be racist.
And why is that?
Racism is an institutionalized thing. I don't think black people have set up institutions powerful enough to oppress other people.
For me, I refer to that as institutionalized racism. You can still have a day-to-day racism done between any two people as long as it's about the races they are. I don't like this argument. I'm gonna be real. Alrighty, thank you, Nessie.
I think I can be prejudiced, but I'm not racist.
I'm prejudiced.
I feel like I'm biased when it comes to white people, honestly, because I don't tend to give them the benefit of the doubt because they come into this world with so much privilege, and I need to work on that.
What about that?
I do. I forget what I was actually about to say. Like, what the fuck was I about to say? Jog my memory, please.
Institutionalized thing. I don't think black people have set up institutions powerful enough to oppress other people.
I think I can be prejudiced, but I'm not racist.
I'm prejudiced.
I feel like I'm biased when it comes to white people, honestly, because I don't tend to give them the benefit of the doubt because they come into this world.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Largely, it's a bunch of semantics, really. It's arguing over what words should mean what other words, when in reality we should be saying you shouldn't be treating other people like shit, regardless or not whether they have privileges or whether or not they have a different skin tone. Why can't we be consistent on this? And yes, everyone has their biases. I have my own biases against bigotries towards other people. Controversial stance, I know.
The world with so much privilege, and I need to work on that.
What about that racial justice activist, Ashley Shackelford from 2017, who declared all white people are racist?
All white people are racist. So I put this up because I really want any white person in the room to know up front that this is what we're dealing with, that it's not going to be this coddling of white tears and what that looks like. We're not going to discuss, oh, maybe some of us have worked it out. No, you're always going to be racist, actually.
Now, if we take a
Okay, so one act of it, comment got disappeared for some reason? Huh. That's weird, because I haven't changed anything. Well, Angel Tail, I think largely the problem, at least to me, is you can be racist to people on a day-to-day scale, which I guess others would refer to as prejudice or bigoted, but then there is institutionalized forces that, yes, we do need to take into account, but we still shouldn't be allowing people to, advocate for the Kill White People party sometimes. That's where I'm coming from. I think it's largely a semantic thing, and we should all just be against bigotry towards other people. Wording sucks. Humans are faulty. We are goddamn chunks of meat powered by electrons running a meat space exoskeleton suit bullshit. We don't work 100% of the time. People get way too hung up on this shit.
Look at her board here. There's a couple of interesting words written on it. Diversity, intersectionality, minorities.
Also, everyone remember, anytime a single activist says literally anything, you can use that to ascribe to the entire parties or the entire sides justifications and beliefs and all that stuff. Nobody speaks for themselves. It's all the hive mind.
Equality and equity, people of color, safe space, white privilege, capitalism, and racism.
We're not going to discuss, oh, maybe some of us have worked it out. No, you're always going to be racist, actually.
Now, if we take a look at her board here, there's a couple of interesting words written on it. Diversity, intersectionality, minorities, equality and equity, people of color, safe space, white privilege, capitalism, and racism. Now, where have we seen these words before?
SJWs?
So even when you're on your path to trying to figure out how to be a better human being, because I believe that white people are born into not being human, like that actually instead of people of color and black folks being dehumanized, that actually everyone is dehumanized off rip within white supremacy, that y'all are born into a life to not be human, and that's what y'all are taught to do, to be demons. So in this particular way, white people are all racist. So I just want you.
I will say, broadly, I get where she's coming from, but she is phrasing it in such a fucking horrible way. Too bad nobody has said anything about this since, what was this, 2017? Come on, get some recent stuff, dude. Like, the thumbnail was all the same Karens.
Y'all to know that up front.
Oh wait, now she goes by Hunter Shackelford and is a trans fat activist who won't shut up about black cishet men. How about the racial activists and the BLM people that want to exclude white people from things?
This message is to all our would-be accomplices and white allies. This message is to all the white people who have BLM in their bio. If you really want to prove to black people that you love us and you care about us and you are down for the cause, do not go see that movie opening weekend. You buy your ticket, you give it to a black person or a black family who can't afford to go, and then you go sit at that theater in front of the doors. You make sure that every black person in that theater can enjoy that movie in peace. You make sure that you use your body to block us from anybody who would be coming in that theater to do us harm.
What movie? The fuck is this on about? Man, I really don't get these guys sometimes.
That is your job. You can go see it on another weekend. Go see it on the second or third weekend. But the first weekend, that's for us. To do anything other than this is anti-black.
Okay, I might make a hot take here. I think it's anti-unity to spout this. I think it's a good thing that not just black people would be interested in whatever movie it is. I don't know. But I think it's important to include as many voices as possible to get this conversation as big as possible and going as far as possible. And we can't do that by excluding other people based on their skin color. In this instance, white people. My God.
Now, this may sound wild, but has this obsession with race created an environment where woke people and racists are becoming the same thing? Because if it's true, perhaps one of the first signs was seen 6 years ago in this small college in Washington.
Racist teachers have got to
The annual day of absence at Evergreen State College involved minority students leaving campus for the day to raise awareness of their contributions. But then in 2017, organizers decided to reverse the roles and ask white students and faculty to leave campus instead.
Get out! It's not how. Get out!
Brett Weinstein, a white professor, objected, citing these demands as forced segregation and discriminatory. And soon after, Weinstein's objections were met with protests and accusations of racism as student activists called for his resignation for promoting white supremacy.
Frankly, every student in the
Okay, what?
Get out! It's not how. Get out!
Brett Weinstein, a white professor, objected, citing these demands as forced segregation and discriminatory. And soon
Okay, so a bunch of people of color, we're organizing a walkout, and then they switched the roles for it to be being charitable, the whiteys here to do the walking out, and one teacher was like, that's forced segregation. I can kind of get where the lefties are coming from with, oh, he's promoting white supremacy, but I also don't think that one single quote is enough to really go off of to say that that guy is 100% a white supremacist. Personally, this is just me. I need a bit of a higher bar to call somebody that. At least a repeated history.
Soon after, Weinstein's objections were met with protests and accusations of racism as student activists called for his resignation for promoting white supremacy.
frankly, every student in that hallway has a clue about where they're going wrong.
And so are we continuing to head down a path of revenge masked as equality? Because as it stands, is it fair to generalize an entire group based on the actions of a few in the past?
New trend is sweeping Theatreland in the UK and US. Blackout performances are dedicated to black-only audiences. Those who are not black are asked not to buy tickets. The Theatre of Royal Stratford East in London says no one's excluded from attending their new show, Tambo and Bones, but promotional material makes clear that white people aren't wanted at the production on the night in question. Says a blackout night is a purposeful creation of an environment in which an all black identified audience can experience and discuss an event in performing arts free from the white gaze. So does this mean I can go if I identify as a black man? There would be someone on the woke side who would have...
Right here, he's conflating like trans people identifying however they fucking want, and then mixed race people claiming that, hey, my heritage is African, part black. That would be a black identifying person. Not like some fucking racist white man saying, oh, I'm black identifying because it's all a sham kind of bullshit. Yeah, Joe, I unironically don't know his point anymore. I just know he hates woke people. That's it. That's not intersectionality. Intersectionality is really about how working class interests, marginalized folks' interests could meet and fight together for collective actions. That's part of it. Intersectionality is the frame of analysis, so to speak, of how the different how different races, how different classes, how different genders and all that, how they all have their own individual struggles and their own individual privileges in different ways, and how they all intersect and work together. Sometimes it's a reified experience, sometimes it's not. It's extremely complicated, and I am not educated enough to properly give a thorough definition. I can just share what I know and then get corrected in the comments.
Well, they have trouble disagreeing with that, given they believe in limitless self-identity. But it is more importantly, is it ever okay to exclude?
Okay. Picking your gender role is not limitless self-identity. Oh yeah, I totally get that, Angel Tail. Like, I personally think it is better to focus on the practical side and how we can best use the tools at our availability to their maximum effectiveness.
Audiences based on skin color. What would happen, for example, if it was the other way around? If this was a white-only audience? Well, I'm joined by the Talk TV contributor Esther Krakow and the Black Lives Matter organizer and activist Iman Aidens. All right, Iman, I'm just trying to picture what would happen if I put on a theatrical production in London.
Are we not going to get copyright for this? Holy shit. I mean, I'm watching it on YouTube. But who knows? YouTube is iffy.
And it said it was for whites only, or people identifying as white, which is obviously a ludicrous phrase, but you would go nuts. You would say that is blatant racism, segregation, dragged us kicking and screaming back to the dark days of appalling bigotry. You would.
Well, it depends on the context, right?
There's no whites-only audience.
It depends on the
No
context.
black people allowed. What would you say?
Well, I think you're perfectly right. It would be akin to racists finding more ways to be more racist.
So why is it
Probably
okay
what I
this
would
way
do.
around?
Okay, so we have to put it into context. It was 1 out of the 29 shows.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. Let's put it into context, Piers. You want to forget about context. Context is everything. It is.
Okay, I really respect this woman right there because, like, given what I know of this situation, which is literally only what this video has shown me, because I live under a rock apparently, I am actually really glad that she managed to get that in. It was one show out of 29, and these people are framing it like it's every single show. It's larger than it is. It's overwhelming. It's so powerful. But yet, they have to stomp it out and protect themselves from the degeneracy of gay people or minorities existing, people of color. You know, harmful. I hate reactionaries.
1 out of the 29 shows that was targeted towards black people. And at no point did they say certain people were not excluded. In fact, they actually said it verbatim on their website. No one is excluded, and yet you have found racism.
No,
How
I
does
just
that work?
read the rest of what they said. It's pretty clear. You are not supposed to go if you're not black.
No, please consider booking other dates.
Right, exactly.
what they said.
I think the context. You're right. The context is important. I think the issue
Thank you.
here is when it's talking about sort of blackouts, and it's trying to gather an audience of black people that they believe have the same experience.
Right. Exactly.
This doesn't transpose the same way it does in the US and the UK, right? A black person in the UK could be black African, black British, or, black from the Caribbean, right? In the US, the conversation around race is completely different, and that's why it's a problem. Obviously, when you bring this to the UK, people are going to be like, "What are you talking about?" This is especially in London, the most
Can you see
multicultural
any
city
merit?
in the country.
Can you see any merit to it?
Of course not. But that's, and I don't even think it makes
But
sense in
why
the
is
American
that?
context.
Why is that?
I
If you're
don't-
talking
because-
about safe spaces, because let's just be clear,
Because I
we're
don't
talking
think-
about
I
safe
don't think-
spaces
because
here,
I think
right?
What do you mean safe space? What does that mean?
Okay, so
That you
again,
wouldn't feel safe if I came along?
No. Again, context. We're talking about a play that was done by black people for black people, targeted for black people.
So?
And
So what?
1 out of the. Again, let's just be clear because you're clearly not getting this message. It is basically akin to the disabled community putting on 29 shows and 29 shows about disabilities, and then one of those shows is targeted towards the disabled community. That is what it is akin to, and yet you have a problem. Why is that, Piers? Have you genuinely asked yourself
I have
why
a
it's
problem.
different between disabilities
I
or
have-
disabled
I have a
community or
problem.
Jewish, but when it comes to black,
My problem is
The problem is you excluded white people and his snowflake feelings are hurt.
that you have already conceded that if it was the other way round, and this was a whites-only night of this theatrical performance,
Context.
you would say racist. And that's my
Safe
problem.
spaces.
It's
Safe
a-
spaces.
it's
Well,
the
black
double
people are
standard.
disproportionately
Can I
affected
just
by
ask
racism, so
why-
therefore it's about safe spaces. This play
I don't
is about
think this
racism.
kind of- I don't
so
think-
therefore we should have a safe space for black people as we are disproportionately affected by
patronising
racism.
I don't think
No,
you
it's not.
tackle- I
You
don't
wouldn't
think-
say that
Holy
to a
shit,
woman.
this
You
is
wouldn't
going
say
on
that to
so
a woman.
long.
She was talking about abuse and therefore she wanted and they wanted and she wanted
All right,
a safe
let Esther
space.
respond.
I'm sorry.
You wouldn't say that.
The idea of safe spaces and black people needing safe spaces is
When
extremely
talking about
patronising.
racism, but when talking about racism,
Okay,
Let her
what
finish.
about, what about
It
Asian?
isn't.
What about
It
Asian
isn't.
people? Do Asian people need safe spaces
when
from
talking,
racism?
when talking
No, do
about
Asian
racism,
people-
when
No, but they-
Well, I mean, when COVID hit, yeah. Did people just kind of forget the ramifications of Trump's China virus rhetoric? Like, anti-Asian racism spiked in 2020, 2021. But let's just ignore it.
Answering your
but we don't
question.
have this
When
conversation.
talking
Let
about,
Esther finish.
No, she just asked me a question, so I'm answering it. When talking about Asian racism, I think they deserve a bit of a safe space. When they're talking about their own experiences,
from black people or from white people?
From all types of people.
From
that are going
racists.
to
All right, let
promote
Esther-
judgment. Because it's about being free of judgment.
Esther, let me ask you. Esther, let me
Free
ask
of
you.
white
Hang-
judgment,
Mark-
free of
Mark-
Asian
Mark,
judgment,
let
free
Esther-
of all types.
Let somebody else speak, please.
No, I'm going to.
Or we're going to have.
What did I do wrong?
You have it better. You're offensive. Police lives matter?
You have the same sticker. We're just trying to do school.
What?
You guys have the same sticker of the other.
But this is our space.
We've got a police.
Okay, for those who don't know, the reason why all lives matter or police lives matter is offensive is because, say you're sitting down at a family dinner and the dinner is all on the table. You've got your plate in front of you, everybody does. And then everybody else goes and fills up their plate, but you didn't get anything. So you say, "Oh, I'm hungry." And then the person next to you says, "Oh, we're all hungry." And then they proceed to eat. Can people see the parallel I'm drawing here? Because Black Lives Matter, while yes, all lives do matter, we want as many people to survive and have healthy and happy lives as possible. It's not all kinds of people that are disproportionately killed by the police, which was the whole point of the Black Lives Matter movement. But people just want to ignore all that. Had a conversation with a person who supports our trans friends about starting solidarity actions for Palestine. That is good. Honestly, I'm not sure what I can really do to help Palestine. I should talk about it more, but unironically, it does kind of feel irresponsible with how little I actually know about it. I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyways, back to racism and wokeness.
Police Lives Matter sticker, and we're getting kicked out. Can't do school. You just said we have to leave.
No, I said you're making this space uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
But you're white. Do you understand what a multicultural space? It means you're not being centered.
White's not a culture?
No. No, it's not a culture. It's white is not a culture. Say it again to the camera. You think whiteness is a culture?
Okay. Whiteness absolutely is a culture. It's a culture of appropriation. But for real, America does have culture. It's gun culture. It's actually not a joking topic. A lot of people worry that their kids are not going to come home from school most days. That's just the world we live in.
This is insane.
So anyways, this is the violence that ASU does, and this is the type of people that they protect, okay? This white man thinks he can take up our space, and this is why we need a multicultural space, because they think they can get away with this shit.
I'm gonna sit here the whole time, and you can find somebody to kick me out.
That's cool. We
We're
will.
not kicking you out. We're asking you to leave if you have any consideration for people of color and or marginalized.
So clearly don't.
That I can go?
Yeah.
I will say that their arguments are essentially leave because you're white, rather than you're using an anti-black slogan in a or you've got an anti-black slogan for a sticker at a multiracial or multicultural meeting of sorts, in something that's trying to lift up the diversity of all things. And well, what power structure do we live under? It's not black people, it's white people. I do see where the right does get all pissy-pantsy. Oh, you're kicking me out. It's for inclusion. But I'm expressing not nice things about you guys, kind of. And some of them don't even do it in direct ways. Like with this specific sticker, it's the "I'm not touching you" kind of bullshit. It's just a slogan, bro. It's just a slogan. God, You know what? To be uncharitable, I hear a lot of people do that with the swastika. And oh my god, there is becoming a bigger and bigger overlap between the right and the far right these days. Yeah, like, it's been a few clips in a row without him saying anything. Like 4 now, goddamn.
The whole rest of the campus, the second floor, the first floor, the whole MU, every single part of the campus centers you. This is the only space that you're not centered, and you're still trying to center yourself, which is peak white cis male bullshit.
Oh, you're not.
You are racist. Your sticker is racist because police, that's a job. You can choose to be a police. I don't choose to be black. Okay? No, you can choose to be a cop. You can choose to kill people with a badge, and you're protecting that shit, which means that you're racist.
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to defend you guys.
I know, but this offends us automatically because these people kill people like me and like us, right? So you're promoting our murderers. So please just don't do that.
I think the worst thing that the person we're hearing talk in the video, not the people shown on the video, I think the worst thing they're doing is coming across as super aggressive because A, you're filming it, B, they're filming it, and C, it's probably going to end up in an internet video just like this one. That said, not everybody thinks clearly off the top, clearly in heated moments like this. I just wish people could take an extra second, take a deep breath, process their thoughts, and then yell at the racist people.
Thank you.
So why should that bother you?
Because, do you understand that police lives matter was in response to Black Lives Matter?
I pay the same fucking tuition as you.
Yep.
Hold on, but
yeah, that's fine, and you have everywhere. You have.
I'm working 60 hours a week while going to school because my parents don't just give me money.
But it doesn't matter.
I could keep going on and on about transgenderism and race in regards to being woke. I could go over the fact that they're pushing gender identity theory onto elementary schoolers under the.
What's the harm with that? Because, like, if I knew that I was trans back at 14, my life would have been way fucking better. But people like this want to push the idea of you shouldn't know until you're an adult. And especially with transgenderism, a lot of things get really set in motion by the time you're 18. Bro, you didn't say anything? I know, right? He just plays clips.
Next generation in teaching gender identity theory as a fact in the school curriculum. Several curriculum.
Does bro not understand? No, why am I asking? That's rhetorical. Of course bro doesn't understand science. He doesn't. He knows basic biology, but he didn't learn the first thing about advanced biology. Because we all know that sex is a bimodal distribution. And gender is, well, your self-identity, how you view yourself. But hey, apparently it's not scientific. It's not as scientific as appealing to intuition.
During Pride Month have been leaked.
So? What's the issue? What is the harm? It's just vague gesturing. Binary means two parts. Sex assigned at birth is binary. What do you think non-binary might mean? You are not given your gender. Yeah. You're. What's the harm? playing music, and oh my god, they're using neo pronouns. How fucking horrible of them. God, I swear to God, the people who complain the most about pronouns can't make a single sentence without pronouns.
Not only that, but there's hundreds of videos on the internet of teachers proudly admitting and professing that they're pushing gender identity theory onto their students.
Again, what's the harm? What's the problem? You're just saying these things bad and fear-mongering over it without actually pointing to any direct harm. If there was direct harm, you could point to it instead of all this fucking vague gesturing.
To play ball so we could go and dance.
What's the harm? Am I going to get copyrighted? I'm probably going to get copyrighted for this video. What? Thank you, Less Prejudice, for helping us diversify our library in 306. Looking forward to sharing and growing with these new titles for our classroom. Sam is my sister, because, yeah, there's no such thing as Samantha. I can't even read that one. Charisse's big voice. A native kid becomes a congresswoman. Oh my god, how dare they have indigenous people come into positions of power. Oh, this is all fear-mongery bullshit. Are they really afraid of this shit? Evan loves Big Brother. Loves being Big Brother to Sam and Finn. They do everything together, go fishing, climb trees, play astronauts. But lately, Evan noticed that he and Sam don't look like brothers anymore. Sam wants to have long hair, because men never had long hair. Look at Jesus. And even asked to wear a dress on the first day of school. I mean, men wear dresses too. Look at Jesus. As time goes by, Evan comes to understand why Sam wants to look like a girl. Because Sam is a girl. Sam is transgender. And just like always, Sam loves to dream with Evan and Finn about going to the moon together. Based on one family's real-life experiences, this heartwarming story of a girl named Sam and brothers who love and support her will resonate with readers everywhere. Oh my god, that's what... They can't have people loving each other? For crying out loud. Seriously. Harm. Give me harm. And they're probably, like, the harm that they would probably point to is irreversible puberty blockers, which puberty blockers are reversible by definition. That's what we made them for. What else? Body mutilation, which actually doesn't typically happen till 18 or older when they're adults and can make that decision. Honestly, the people that argue against this stuff know the least about it. This story shall destroy Western civilization. Stop, Briley Sensei. You're going to break the space-time West continuum with this genderism. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens in the next 3 minutes. Whoa, just leaking the book there? Seriously, what's the harm? What's wrong with this? Hey, I know of Stonewall. Research suggests that children as young as 2 recognize their trans identity, yet many nurseries and schools teach a binary understanding of pre-assigned gender. Queer, inclusive, and affirming education is crucial for the for the well-being of all young people. I mean, does this guy have research to prove the opposite? Probably not. He's probably just going to be like, oh, you can't trust the universities because they're too Jewish or something.
So let me give you an
Oh my God.
And there is a video of him as a toddler. So he was assigned female at birth. There's a video of him as a toddler tearing barrettes out of then her hair and throwing them on the ground and sobbing. That's a gender message. And when it happens not just once or twice or 3 times.
Or it just keeps happening until they're 18 and, oh, it's just a phase that they've been going through for a super duper long time. But I don't know, people are too young to know that they don't want to wear, or they're too young to know that they want to be a different gender, but they're not too young to be put into like onesies that say pussy slayer. I fucking hate the right.
That's a gender message.
For race, I could talk about this obsession with reparations, the double standards, which I've touched a little bit on so far. But my overall point with this video is this. The term woke clearly has a meaning. It refers to many beliefs within an ideology that is typically deemed progressive and leftist. Almost.
Thank you for saying that it's a broad blanket statement to say progressive and leftist and all that is bad. Nothing good can come from that, right? That's the vibe I've been getting from this video.
Always riddled with the cancer that is identity politics.
Very nice comparison. Nice.
Often with the perspective of separating groups into who is the most oppressed and then applying different standards onto them while claiming that they want equality. However,
what he's trying to describe here is equity, so it's like equality of outcome kind of thing. Like, I'm just going to speak from my experiences in the progressive circles I've been in. Nobody wants there to be, I don't know, black people to be in, like only black people to be in power. We want voices from all over to be in power so that it's more representative of the common working person. At least that's what I think. But hey, no, I'm progressive, I'm woke. That means I ascribe to every single thing this guy says about wokeism.
I understand why Creeper and those that are like him pretend as though they have no idea what the word actually means. They know that it has a meaning. It's just far easier for them to feign ignorance and pretend as though it has no meaning so that they don't have to address anyone's issues or address their opposition directly. It's a cowardice cop-out. Everything shown in the video or briefly mentioned and a lot more will eventually be talked about in another series that I'm making, diving into the retardation that is identity politics, exposing myself and you all to a plethora of its cancer.
I will say, I think identity politics is a waste of time. If you can make a good point or make a good argument, you don't need to bring identity politics into it. That's just my opinion.
I am so tired of catering to cis people's feelings. Because I do. I do it every time I go to a restaurant and the server says, "Hi, ladies," and I don't correct them. Every time I choose the women's washroom because people expect that of me and it makes them comfortable. Every time I go to the grocery store and ignore being called miss or ma'am. Every time a close friend misgenders me and my immediate response is to say, "No, it's okay as long as you're trying." It's not okay. And I'm not okay, because in order for any of you to even entertain the idea of respecting my existence, I have to water down all of my emotions lest I live up to the whiny crybabies trans stereotype that you all have in your heads. Because God forbid you take someone seriously when they are showing valid emotion.
Things I'm gonna start doing so.
Oh my god, the dude literally did what that person was criticizing others of doing. Man, right-wingers have no media literacy, even for goddamn social media.
So if you misgender me, it's on fucking purpose. In the video, I'm literally gonna put my pronouns are he, they. In the caption of the video, putting he, they. Putting the hashtag he, they. It's already on my profile picture and in my bio. I'm literally going above and beyond. So there is no fucking excuse for people to misgender me. You don't get an excuse if you misgender me. Like, you don't. Like, well, I didn't. How did you not see the one of 5 things?
I will say, bro, don't underestimate how fucking stupid people are. Seriously, you can scream it a million ways from the rooftops, and there will always be somebody that doesn't listen. That's just how it is.
Just admit you don't think I deserve to have my pronouns respected. Just admit it.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin. This is serious.
Fun fact, every time conservatives complain about genders, we add 3 more. Thank you for that. That was a huge waste of time. The dude didn't really do much besides fear-mongering. Yay! Like, I do have my... had 3 more. I personally have my own issues with the left, especially the online left, but I don't think they're the problem. I think it's the people pushing the anti-left stuff, the right-winger stuff. They're the people that are actually trying to control you, at least from my understanding. The left just, at least I want people to be able to express themselves however they want. How horrible. Let people live their lives, and, well, it really seems to me like the right just wants you to conform to their standards of living. You have to conform to the 2 gender principles. You have to conform to the traditional family narrative kind of shit. And then what is also funny to me is we gotta go back to our traditions in America, and then they just kind of forget that America was founded on immigration. So a bunch of not white people start showing up, and then they start getting mad. Funny how that works out. But yeah, when people use the word woke unironically, they're referring to any sort of progressive or leftist advocacy, and they don't like it. They don't. I honestly wonder if they actually will engage with arguments and all that fun stuff, because I like engaging with arguments. I don't think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people just want to express shit into their echo chambers. That is something that happens quite a bit. But I mean, I can't really help people that don't want to actually have these conversations. I can't force anybody to have these conversations. But what can you do? At least in the EN online space, the woke thingy by the right still has bite. The argument doesn't work here in the islands of the Philippines because here being mulat or socially conscious or learning about social issues is considered a virtue. God, I wish being socially conscious in America was considered a virtue. But it's only considered a virtue to some of the population. Yay. Thanks for watching. Like it if you like it, dislike if you didn't. Let me know in the comments why you think I'm wrong. Check out the community on Discord. And remember, if you can't be the sharpest tool in the shed, you can always be the hoe. Just want to take a quick second and thank all the beeps that have joined my channel through the memberships. So thank you, Joestar, Maxi Kitty, JM, and Hero.